Welcome back to another episode, GW. I'm Izzy Angeli, and this is GWeek from home. The Supreme Court announced last Friday that Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died from pancreatic cancer complications at age 87. She was appointed in 1993 during the Clinton administration and has since served as the eldest member of the Supreme Court's liberal wing. Ginsburg fought to deliver progressive votes on integral social issues like abortion rights, voting rights, healthcare, affirmative action, same-sex marriage, and immigration. Her dying wish was that she not be replaced until a, quote, new president is installed, end quote. However, President Trump and Mitch McConnell are insisting on a nomination to replace Ginsburg before the presidential election. Thousands of mourners paid their respects in front of the Supreme Court in the following days. A Kentucky grand jury indicted one of the 3 police officers on Wednesday involved in the murder of 26-year-old ER technician Breonna Taylor on charges of wanton endangerment for blindly shooting a gun into a neighboring apartment. Taylor was unarmed and asleep in her apartment on March 13th when police stormed in on an alleged drug raid when they shot her 6 times. Former Louisville police officer Brett Hankinson is facing 3 felony charges, but Jonathan Mattingly and Miles Cosgrove were not charged. While the Taylor family's attorneys called for nothing less than a second-degree manslaughter charge, this long-awaited grand jury decision means that no officer was charged with the killing of the aspiring nurse. Kentucky police claim 2 Louisville officers were shot in the midst of protests in the city. As countries around the world attempt to find new and innovative ways to combat the spread of COVID, some are taking more unique routes. Sweden's response is what some are calling herd immunity, and its effectiveness is still in question. Herd immunity is the idea that if enough people are infected with the virus, then it will be less likely to spread. McKenzie McManaman decided to take a closer look.
Sweden and their handling of the coronavirus pandemic is the talk of the media. Some have praised Sweden for adopting a herd immunity response. However, there is a lot of misinformation surrounding Sweden's response. So what's the truth? Was Sweden right in adopting a herd immunity policy? First, Sweden did not pass legislation in favor of herd immunity, nor was it their primary goal to get every citizen infected with COVID-19. While many European countries enacted strict mandatory lockdowns, Sweden made lockdown voluntary, relying on contact tracing and individual responsibility to social distance. Sweden's first case of coronavirus was reported on February 4th, 2020. With no mandatory lockdown of schools, gyms, restaurants, or other establishments, they reported the highest number of cases in the region during March and April. Then, numbers started to level out. By September 17th, Sweden had reported 5,800 deaths and an estimated 88,000 cases and their population of 10.23 million. The most similarly sized state in the United States is North Carolina, which has a population of roughly 10.4 million people. To date, North Carolina has reported 194,000 cases and 3,200 deaths. Could this be an option for the United States to pursue? Dr. Leanna Wen, an emergency room physician at GW Hospital and professor at GW School of Public Health, has concerns about herd immunity as a response to coronavirus. Here's what she had to say.
The problem, though, is, number one, we don't know about immunity. We don't know how long immunity to COVID-19 really lasts. And if we're waiting until 60 to 80% of people have it, we're talking about 200 million plus Americans getting this, and at a fatality rate of 1%, let's say, that's 2 million Americans who will die in this effort to try to get herd immunity. And those are preventable deaths of our loved ones that we can just not let happen under our watch.
While authorities predicted 40% of the Swedish population would have immunity by May, the true number was closer to 15%, which does not reach the threshold to declare herd immunity. Sweden's middle-of-the-road approach may be different than every other country. It is still too soon to decide whether or not this approach was successful. For GWeek, I'm McKenzie McManaman.
Thanks, McKenzie. Provost M. Brian Blake emailed a survey to all students on Wednesday inquiring about a, quote, pass-fail option, end quote, for grading. Instead of finishing off the semester with a letter grade counted toward their cumulative GPA, students were given the option in spring of 2020 to either pass or fail a course, without their GPA being affected. Initially, this was done in an effort to alleviate some of the academic challenges that came with the switch to virtual learning for the first time. Blake encouraged students to fill out the short survey, saying that the administration, quote, would like to know your thoughts about this possibility, end quote. Well, that's all we have for this week. Don't forget to visit gw-tv.com and follow us on Instagram at GWeek News for more. From our homes to wherever you may be, stay safe, GW.